Hi, I am Dr. Jacob Lauritzen. This is Read, Write, and Cite, the channel where I teach you how to read, write, and cite for your college English classes. This is the second video in a series on how to format and follow MLA citation style. It's been the most popular thing on the channel up until this point, this topic. So I figured I'd make a series kind of breaking things down a little bit more. So here we go. In this video, we're going to be talking about in-text citations. Now, depending on your teacher, they may call this in-text citation. They may call this parenthetical citation. They may call this those things that go in parentheses at the end of a sentence. Whatever the case may be, this is how you give credit for an author's work or ideas in the middle of your paper. MLA cites in two spots: in the middle of the paper, at the end of the sentence where you use information, and then they do it again at the end of the paper where they give the complete information. So I'm going to show you how to do this in the middle of the paper part. We call it, for this, I'm going to call it in-text citation. Okay? So in the last video, we created a sample paper using MLA, and I'm going to add to that. So we're going to start with some attribution, which will lead into a quote where we do an in-text citation. So I'm going to use Robinson Crusoe as an example. So we'll say Daniel Defoe in his classic work, Robinson Crusoe, describes its titular, that's a nice word, character as, and now we're going to pull a quote from the very beginning. Okay. All right. As quote. This is off of page 1 of my Dover Thrift Edition. All right, so as, okay, let's say some reason you have to quote that description of Robinson Crusoe. Here you've gotten to the end of a sentence, you've used specific words from the author Defoe, and so you need to give credit. You need to include a citation. Now, there's a difference between the actual quotation, which goes in quotes, and the citation, which gives credit for whose ideas these are. So we're going to give a citation. And there's two things you need to include in a citation in MLA. You're going to include the author's last name and the page number. It goes in parentheses at the end of the sentence. So this was page 1, and it's Defoe. So Defoe 1, period. That's it. It's not crazy. This right here is what you want to do. You don't highlight it, but this is what you want to do in an in-text citation. Now, there are some exceptions, but the majority of the time, this is all you have to do. You use information at the end of the sentence, you do this. Now, what if it's not a direct quote and it's a summary, meaning you've summarized or you've paraphrased, you wrote it in your words? That's great. You take off the quotes, but you still include the citation because you cite the ideas and the words from the author so you can give credit. The reason we do this is because when you don't, the implication that you're giving to the reader is that these are your words, but these aren't. They're someone else's, so you have to give credit. Does that make sense? Now, your teacher may tell you you have to do this every single time. You have to do this at the end of a paragraph. If the teacher gives you a rule, follow the teacher's rule. What I tell my students is at the end of every single sentence, where you use someone else's words or ideas, include an in-text citation. The reason I do that is so that there is no confusion. What's coming from what? It feels like a lot of citations, but here's the good news. You look smart, and it takes up space in your paper. So, win-win. Anyway, if your teacher has a different rule, obviously follow what your teacher says. You should always do that. Now, there are some exceptions. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. so it's not there anymore. Okay. Now, what in general, if you've already introduced the author and you continue to use the same source, all you have to do is page number. That's it. That's probably sufficient. So we give attribution here. We've introduced who has come up with these ideas. I'm going to go ahead and, anyway, that's what you should do if we're following MLA. All right. We've given attribution. There's no confusion on which source we're talking about, so a page number is probably sufficient. Now, if you're not quoting a book that has page numbers, you're on like a website or something like that, MLA doesn't require you to make up information that doesn't exist, so you can do something like paragraph 1 or something like that. In the current version of MLA, version 8, I believe we're on, they ask for something like this, paragraph or something like that. The previous version didn't ask for that. There's confusion. Anyway, what you don't want to do is get to the point to where you've removed all information from the end, because then it doesn't look like you're citing anything, because you aren't. So, easy enough? Now, there are some exceptions. If there is no author for what you're quoting, then you want some sort of version of the title. So, if it's not that long, you can just use the whole title. If it's a long title, then maybe you need to abbreviate in some way. And again, if there's no page number, you can use an alternate. That's kind of what it comes down to. The important thing is, every single time you use someone else's words or ideas, you need to give credit. And the way we do that is through Text Citation. The next video, we're going to talk about how to do works cited, explain how to do all the complicated detailed at the end. But that'll be the next video. Again, my name is Dr. Jacob Lauritzen. This has been Read, Write, and Cite. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.